everybody. Welcome to Field of Dreams on NCBN TT. I'm Steve David and I'm your host. Today I have a very special guest, no stranger to Field of Dreams and no strangers to Trinidad and Tobago football. Let me introduce you to Merere Gonzales. Welcome to set, Merere.
Thank you very much, Steve, and Field of Dreams entire viewing population. I appreciate being here. Thank you so kindly.
Okay, Merere is the president of the Secondary Schools Football League. And you guys, Merere, everything you touch turn into gold. So this is the second year and it's getting better. So let's remind the viewers a little bit. Let's reminisce a little bit about last season so they remember what happened last season. And then we will get them going with this season, what we plan to do.
Well, I thank you so kindly for the compliment in the context of the SSFL being an entity that is considered a responsible one and professional one. I'm very honored and pleased to be president of such a very esteemed organization. Congratulations to all those who would have served in the past. Having said that, I want to also bring to the table that we're extremely fortunate and privileged to be celebrating the 60th anniversary this year. Yeah. So a lot of things are in place for the honoring of such a very valuable milestone. Having said that, last season was quite a very successful one, both for the boys and the girls, and credit to the entire membership for working towards ensuring that we had a very successful one. It does not in any way take away from the fact that there is always room for improvement, because we had a few areas, inclusive of the delayed Big Five boys and the Big Five girls, but more importantly, the Big Five boys, because of the disciplinary matters that were pending, and we eventually came to that decision. It was the only time we actually played SSFL in the month of January, February. So that being the case, but we wanted to ensure too that we had all the necessary protocols observed and respected, and recognizing that we fell short, of which we initially, and I would want to repeat here again, we do apologize for any inconvenience caused and discomfort. But having said that, barring that and possibly a few indiscipline here and there, which we try to clamp down as much as possible on, because SSFL in no way whatsoever condones indiscipline by the schools, by those who are supporters of the SSFL, since it's a school competition, and therefore in our constitution and the guidelines, the schools are held with the responsibility of their home supporters. There are areas where they could be reprimanded or fined accordingly. We really don't want to go down that road of penalties, but we have that in place in the event that we have to utilize it. I want to also recognize too for last season that the gap is closing, and that is good. And I say gap closing in the context of the competition among the various schools, not only at the premiership level, but at the championship girls and boys, and also at the lower divisions. I want to recognize and identify a particular school, not for want of any way being favored or being in any way favoring, but the school in the East Hillview College in particular, doing a lot of groundwork, like some other schools too, at the Republic Bank National Youth Football League tournament for the 2023 season, and even before that 2022. And now they have the distinction of moving up into the championship in the E zone. So that is just one out of several schools that we need to credit for the consistency and the improvement. In the SSFL Premiership Division, We went down apparently to the second to last league game to determine the premiership winner.
Exactly.
And when that happens, it's indicative that the competition is high, is a high level one that is really tremendously exciting, one that brings the best out of the schools through their student athletes. And to that, we want to credit the schools, from the principals down to those of the technical staff, for the support, the encouragement, even the parents and other family members. I want to also acknowledge the coaches that we have on board. We are very, very fortunate to have some of the most distinguished, competent, talented, and gifted coaches in the country now returning to the SSFL, and I speak about a few. You have Hudson Charles, Cooper from Presentation College, Baba Charles from Fatima. I'm very happy to say that we also now have Randolph Boyce, coach of St. Benedict's College, who is now being honored and given the privilege of being the national under-20 coach. When that happens, and I mean prior to that, we had Angus Eve, who served creditably well as senior coach of the national team, and once reigned supreme with Naparima College, winning the most titles at the premiership. So it shows that the quality that we have, it is being recognized by TTFA, and we want to also commend Mr. Kieran Edwards and his entire slate for the victory, with all respect to the other slate led by Mr. Colin Wolf, who I am sure would have done a good job too, but who is in position right now is Kieran Edwards and his team, and we are working closely in collaboration with them to ensure that together we can move forward and continue to make credible, respectable, and positive holistic development and advancement of our student athletes. We just came out of the girls, the CONCACAF girls under 15, which we performed creditably well in the context of taking the third place position. The boys under 14 CFU, Caribbean Football Union, just concluded yesterday, which is our Sunday, the 25th, which happened to be my birthday. And they fell short by losing against French Guiana. So while I'm saying the gap is closing at the SSFL level, the gap is also closing at the Caribbean level. And Trinidad and Tobago really needs to ensure that the position and reputation that we had before, the countries are getting very close to us, and it's about us now digging deep. Because we have the resources. I am personally of that belief. We have the persons to do it. It's just about working in a very collective way to ensure that the players, by extension, more importantly, reap the rewards from all of our efforts.
It's interesting to know that, and you just woke me up, that 60-year anniversary.
Yes.
And that is a milestone. And that is in 1964
That's good.
is the first year the actual Colleges League started, with the 3 teams in the north and the 3 teams in the south. I know that because that was the first year when I went to college.
Yes.
So I knew about it. So that's good. So we should have some kind of celebration, and this is a good year for it, because I think you're gonna out to this world. I think you guys are gonna do well, because your players, when that's playing in the Premier League now, is doing excellent. And I'm looking, because that's where my hunting ground is gonna be, secondary schools, to help my team build. So we really appreciate you for stepping up your game and giving us all we can handle.
One of the things, David, that we would like to see materialize. We have not done it as yet. It's on the front burner. The financial support is critically important in this exercise that I'm going to share now, which is have the Premiership Girls competition.
Right.
We were just on the verge of doing it, and then COVID came in and created some disruption. So now we're trying to resurface, revamp, re-engage the various stakeholders. I would say, and we have the launch coming up, the SSFL Sportsmark launch at, most likely, the Bricks Hotel in St. Anne's on Wednesday, the 28th of August. And one of the areas of concern that we'll be highlighting is that of the Girls' Premiership. But what we have looking rather encouraging, while we may be unable to have established it, why we would have liked to do it for the 60th anniversary, we do have, and not to take the cat out of the bag right now, one of the ambitious and exciting sponsors who's going to take a part of the Girls' Championship, sponsor it, the Big Five, and their intention in wetting their feet figuratively is to come 2025 be the one that will be given first preference for the sponsorship of the Girls' Premiership. I say that because the girls are important as the boys. FIFA has been advocating for the longest while that the future of football is feminine. Not in any gender biased way, but to show that what the males can do, the girls can also do it. We are very fortunate in this part of the world, CONCACAF, to be precise. The Americans are one of the leaders in world football. I'm talking about the female team, with all due respect to the men team. We saw what they did in the recently concluded Olympics. Right? USA and Canada remains one of the two countries where a number of our student athletes saw scholarship and still continue to. So we want to encourage, we want to support the girls and the boys, but in this case the girls, to pursue their dreams for those who wish to at the scholastic level, and for those who wish to go professional, like Akila Mullen, just to mention a few. Even now we have Johnson, who is now playing in, I believe it's Sweden, got a left back at the national senior team, who came back quite recently to spend some holidays right here in Trinidad. That the openings are there, the opportunities are there, and that's what I want to say, that opportunities will always be there. Student athletes, just make sure and be ready, so that when the opportunities come your way, you can't afford to say you weren't given the chances. So it's about the 5 P's. Proper planning prevents poor performance. So as long as you plan well, you prepare well, and the opportunities come, hey, it's there for the taking. And I'm sure opportunities will continue to come, as they are coming right now, for all and sundry.
Right. I think if we have a TTPF for women, I think secondary school girls is going to dominate that. Because I don't think there's too many clubs out there who can support that. So if they ever do that, I think you have a fluctuation of.
And as you quite rightly mentioned, that I want to really congratulate Ms. Mora, recently elected as the president of the Wolf TT, and her new executive. I believe they will take the baton and carry it to the next level, which is a higher level. They're working closely in conjunction with the present executive, Kieran Edwards. I think they have also exercised great wisdom in not starting the Wolf TT at this point in time, seeing that they had some constraints within the earlier part of 2024 to conclude the 2023 season. And I say that because almost about 70% of their players are student athletes in school. And we would like these female athletes, student athletes, to be able to play for their clubs as well as play for their schools. So with the expectation, with a delay seasonal start by Wolf TT, which most likely will be late November into December or even January, it affords now these student athletes, the females, to play in the schools and to now continue playing at their clubs, which is what we want. Now, I want to say this categorically clear because sometimes it could be perceived as a misconception. The Secondary School Football League does not, has not, and will not in any way debar any player from playing for their clubs.
Right.
They're entitled to play for their clubs, their academies, or for their schools, or all three, if they are in all three. However, for the SSFL, because we have insurance on all the players, including the females, we think it is imperative, and it's only astute of us, that in the event, not wishing it happens, that you get injured, then we now have to embark on utilizing the insurance that we have put in place to assist you. If you are now to be playing for a club or academy while you're engaged in the SSFL and you were to get injured, I think it's only unfair that we cover that. And that's the only reason. As a matter of fact, a player, male or female, can continue playing for their clubs into September, into October, even November. And they can maybe play the first game for their school in the last 2 weeks in November, and it's up to them. But the minute you play your first game for the SSFL, it means that you have now given up your rights to play for your club.
Merere, is when we start talking, we lose track of time. So we need to take a break.
Sure.
As soon as we come back, we pick up where we left off.
Beautiful.
Viewers will be right back after a short break.
Hi, I am Nigel Coutier.
Hi, I'm Jemima Joseph.
And I'm Jovan Paul Edmond.
We are coming to a community near you. We're going to speak community talk. We want to hear your issues, your concerns, or what will improve your community.
Look out for us. We'll be coming soon, Nigel and myself, to your community to hear in whatever way we can do to improve your environment, be it employment, infrastructure, anything to improve your living as well as our own.
Catch us on NCBN TT television for Community Talk.
Brother, before you could say Raja, but look with deep way deep on it, yeah, and still here we complaining. There's no chance for sitting. Everybody giving comment and we cussing the government. But it's we who throw rubbish on the street. It's we who does litter up we beach. It's we who does the garbage bin. We felt it. I tell you it's we, brother, that us do these things. It's we who does cause the only sufferance. It's we who does fuss and complain. But I say, it is we to blame.
Okay, viewers, welcome back. For the ones now tuning in, you're looking at Field of Dreams on NCBN TT. We have with us today Merere Gonzales, who is the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Secondary Schools Football League. Merere, as we were talking, I know you guys planning something for the 60th anniversary.
Yes.
Do you want to share, or you just want to hold it until that time comes?
I guess what I'll do is just give a synopsis.
Okay.
And we'll hold on the specifics. We will be celebrating it in grand style, somewhere around maybe the middle of the season, if not the final third. The intention is to acknowledge a number of individuals who would have served in the SSFL over the years. If you could recall, in the 50th anniversary, that one was also a special one, because you were one of the persons, I believe, also who was recognized along with Warren Archibald and
Everett
Cummins, etc. The Leon, and others like that, for the service that you would have rendered over the many years. So along a similar line, and for those administratively, and for those players, etc., who would have excelled, and also recognition of some other individuals, miscellaneous and otherwise, that will be acknowledged. Again, all for service that they would have rendered, for the valuable input that they would have done, for the continued support of the SSFL. So with this 60th anniversary, we will be having it in such a way to ensure that no stone is left unturned, to certainly recognize those who definitely need to be put on the podium for the excellent work that they would have done over the years with the SSFL.
If I may suggest, right, like the 50th, you recognize the players who started this 50 years ago. Now it's 6 years ago. So instead of going to those, you got to come down to the ones who come after them.
What we'll look at is possibly within the last 10 years.
Right.
Seeing that we have already covered those for the first 50.
Right.
So those who are great achievers, standouts within the last decade, those are the ones in particular who will be brought to the forefront and rewarded for their efforts.
Exactly. Yeah. And we look forward to that. All right. So tell us a little bit about some plans for this year. Is it anything new? How are we going to improve the process? Because it's a tall order to improve what you did last year.
One of the areas that was a sour grape, using such a term to describe part of the season, was the same very big five that I spoke about, that we need to have done some serious introspective work on it. So the intention for 2024 is to re-engage, revamp, reshuffle, reorganize the machinery for the registration, which right now presently is in transition mode. The registration actually is in progress at this time, especially for the Premiership division, certainly also inclusive of the other divisions. More meticulous work will be done to ensure, and we have done that over the many years. It's just that this one slipped through the crack for 2023, and we felt the hurt and the pain from it. And to that, we apologize for the discomfort, especially to the schools that were involved. But something of such nature, one, should not have happened, and we'll put all things in place to ensure that it doesn't repeat itself. Outside of that, we just want to remind all the schools categorically clear that we really have very much enthused, excited of the great support of those schools that are in the various divisions and most of the premiership and championship. And while we know that football is part of it is a highly emotional event, and passion can take the better part of us, that there is some level of control with one's behavior. So, running onto the field of play without the referee's permission is not acceptable, unless for authorized persons. So we did have 1 or 2 incidents where adults, parents, guardians were having some altercations with players, minor, but it's better to nip these things early in the bud so that they don't in any way become in an exaggerated way and blow out of proportion. So we are reminding more or less all those who are involved, the stakeholders, in particular the supporters, love the game. We appreciate your support. You have your role to play, and allow the student athletes to do their thing, and allow the match officials also to perform their responsibility and their duty, and the teams through their coaches to also do their tactical, strategic maneuvering of their coaching, and the administrators through the schools to do what is necessary to get the players to the forefront. One of the other areas that we were looking forward to for this season, as we celebrate in the 60th anniversary, is that one of the sponsors in particular, more of that will be said very soon, will be embarking on a special program in the schools to highlight some of the most outstanding players from the zone, and just possibly to start with the top 10, which we have 5 zones. So the top male and female in each zone, but more will be said about that. And it's a good direction to take because they are recognizing the great achievers. Why? Because we simply have some players, student athletes, who have been performing so creditably well by even attaining at this tender age national caps, either for the under 17, under 20. And look at Shaves from Fatima. He got his lone senior cap before, unfortunately, he was injured in that Tier 2 game in Matura, playing for Queen's Park, even though he still also attained the MVP award, male. Congratulations to him. And Jalissa Alexander from Scarborough Secondary doing a double, back-to-back, retaining that crown that she won in 2022. So that being said, and I could mention those and several others. Josiah Ochoa from St. Mary's College, captain of the national under 17 team. We could go on and on with a number of players. So with that being said, we want to recognize that doing their homework, putting in the hard work, respecting and addressing the concerns made by their coaches and other members of the technical staff and guided by the school and their parents. A lot of opportunities are there for them. And therefore, we know that we will have a highly entertaining, competitive, and I pray God, an injury-free and an accident-free 2024. But a lot are in store, I should say, for the players, the student athletes. And I want to also share too, just up to this morning, I got a call from a reputable institution, not to call the country, but to let us know that they eagerly awaiting full scholarship, a goalkeeper, a male in this case, and also looking for a female midfielder. This is a university full scholarship with all areas covered, all expenses taken care of. They must have at least 4 CSEC or ordinary subjects. You don't need to have any advances yet. They're also saying that you need to have an SAT score. So they're looking for that. But they need the information as soon as possible. They're also indicating that a video clip on each player will assist tremendously. And with that being said, again, a very noteworthy reminder. Don't wait until you reach Form 4 and Form 5 to create your videos, which will be part of your resume.
Right.
Student athletes and coaches and parents, make sure that it is being done as you're going through these stages while playing for your school. What I would like to see happen as the president is this, and I hope, trust, with that drive that we'll be able to have it, the tangible part of it, in place very soon, is that any player, I will say Steve David, coming into a school at Form 1 level, and his dream or his aspiration is to be successful in acquiring a school scholarship or a football scholarship, or in a case where he or she may wish to go after a professional contract, there are steps that we will put in place to let you know these are the terms and conditions, these are the requirements, these are the procedures to follow. So when you reach Form 4, Form 5, you're not scratching your head and wondering what's next to be done. You'd have already know what to do and put it in place. So it means it will put you in good stead to acquire scholarships easier. Now, may I say in the same breath too, the standard of the football is improving daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. The rivalry is also stepping up to the upper level. Getting scholarships, while it may appear to be easier for male and female in the regional and international circuit, like Canada and the US, there are also students who are attending high school in the US and in Canada who are also looking to source same scholarships too. So the competition for scholarships for those who are desirous is very, very competitive. We saw quite recently with the CFU boys under 14. I was very privileged to be at the Hazel Crawford Stadium to see Bermuda play in, I believe it's, can't recall right now, but Bermuda, they were playing the opponents, and the quality of football that they were playing, and that's just under 14. Good synergy, good understanding, ball possession, etc. like that. And they're only 14 years of age, and that's a country within the Caribbean. Not to take away from Jamaica, which we want to applaud and congratulate for winning the CFU boys under 14. And Jamaica, by and large, now is also open up its doors through the GC Foster, which are highly promoting the physical education program, and the college, the Jamaica College, for accepting student athletes from Trinidad and Tobago now in football and in track and field, just to mention two very important sporting disciplines. Trinidad and Tobago through UTT is doing its work, and through UE, always room for improvement, and should reach a point now where the level should be improved and increase at the UTT level. So those who don't wish to maybe live and study on the outside could have the advantage of staying home and still get scholarships right here at the University of Trinidad and Tobago. I'm not talking about just partial, I'm talking about full scholarships at the UTT as well as the University of the West Indies. By doing that, by also creating the structure and the philosophy that we need to be able to have an identification to play by and to play with, so that all the coaches on board, those are the elite program level, those are the grassroots level, those are the elite level at the national level, and those within the school will know that Trinidad and Tobago is the philosophy we're working by. And therefore, by doing such, I know fully well the SSFL as a contributor will continue to do what is necessary to assist with the holistic development and advancement of the players so that they could showcase their talent in a very prolific way at the national level.
Right. I like the idea about recognizing the players, like what is going to be like a monthly player or player of the month or something like that, or weekly. How are you going to do that?
As we are embarking on it for the first time, what we will do is most likely, or the intention is to look at your performance on the field of play and also look at your academic performance, your consistency, maintaining a certain percentage in the school over the September-October month and possibly part of November. So it's going to be a beautiful marriage between the academic and your ability to play the game of football, which we know is expected for any student athlete who is moving in the direction of acquiring a football scholarship, or for those who wish to go pro. That with that, we know already schools are doing it, but the SSFL want to even further support such an initiative and acknowledge those student athletes who are great achievers along that pathway.
I tell you what, if we can do something to recognize them as well, bring them on the show or something, we would be happy to do that. And we need to take a break now, though. When we come back, we would get into. I want us to talk a little bit about how we keep the balance geographically with what, 14 teams?
16.
16.
Yeah, at the Premiership.
Yeah. Okay. Viewers, we'll be right back after the short break.
Change Talk TV, tell us soundboy better stay calm, be cool.
Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to another edition of Saturday Sports on NCBN TT television. We are on every Saturday evening at 8 p.m. where we talk sports.
Hi, I am Nigel. Quote Me Today is your daily motivational segment to start your day right. Join me Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. right here on NCBN. Remember, wake up with a smile. Today is your day.
extreme. That's why when we testing, we just bed hard when we jamming, we just jam down when we drinking, man is strong rum, eh. Pop a bottle right now when we testing, we just bed hard when we jamming, we just jam down when we drinking, man is strong rum, eh. Pop a bottle, push up your hand.
Okay, welcome back, viewers. Okay, Marie, you are such a genius at everything that you do. And this one is going to be a brain teaser for you because you don't have control over geographically controlling how things sway. But I know you can do it if it ever happens. So because back in the day, in 64, they had 3 North teams and 3 South teams.
Yes.
And intercall was between the South teams play, the North teams play, and then boom, the finals. Now we have 16 premier teams.
Yes.
So this could become a problem. Right now it's not really, but it could become a problem. So I with your genius brain and expertise, how you think you can control that?
You use a word there. It's a very potent word. Control.
Right.
What is within one control? So there are things that are controllables, and there are things out of the control of the SSFL. In the context of this, administratively right now, we have rules and regulation and guidelines concerning the Premiership Division of the top 16. It's a qualification, it's a promotion and a demotion. So to be able to reach there, it doesn't matter what zone you are from, you have the opportunity to reach the Premiership Division. So it's a ding-dong, I wouldn't say dog, eat battle, but it's a ding-dong battle to reach there. And this puts the various zones at a position where you have to lift your game, you have to lift your standard. And it's a challenge for them, and I mean bragging rights among many others, to see which zone will be the better one, or which coach or which school. Healthy rivalry continues among the SSFL membership, and that's good. What we need to do, and what the members need to understand, is this: while we would like to see equality, which is rather difficult to attain, we could at least put on the table equity across the board by allowing all the schools to have a starting point or a base, which means the resources afforded from and provided by the SSFL, all 16 teams are provided it from the beginning, prior to the season. What is happening right now, and is quite evident, is that some of the schools, because of the exceptionally strong alumni that they have in place, and are very effective, efficient, and have a potent contribution that they are making to the school and to the football team, this is where some are having a slight advantage over the others. Now, what we also could see in this scenario is the poaching of players, which is something that happens all over the world, and even here in Trinidad and Tobago. But poaching can be not totally eradicated, but it can be diminished. How? Ensuring, not to call any particular school, but school A and school B. If school A player or players is being poached on to come to school B, because school B has a number of various entities or benefits that player from school A does not have over in school A, he or she, with the consent and permission of the parents and guardian, move to school B. What school A needs to do? They need to also lift the ante and say, okay, the reason why you would have gone across to school B is because these things have attracted you. So we need to make sure and put the same systems, same incentives, same benefits in place. So before the child considers or even thinks about moving, they will already be in a comfortable space where they will feel honored, privileged, and have that level of loyalty to play for their school. Now, that doesn't in any way still take away the right of any child through the Ministry of Education, which we fall under, to move from one school to the next as long as they fit the requirements. And by the way, I want to applaud the patron of the league, which in this case is the Minister of Education, Dr. Nayan Gatsby-Dolly, for the continuous support to the SSFL, and also our Chief Ambassador being Shaka Hislop, always very much in support of the SSFL. So to return to that topic about the equity and equality, is about ensuring that is handled in a very meticulous and a very strategically astute way, so that while you will still have schools that may still invariably have a little more than the others, that there will not be a high level of disparity. And by doing such, it means, even while I would have mentioned earlier on that the gaps are closing. So if the gaps are closing in spite of the great disparity, you can imagine what could happen now when all 16 schools, just to mention the Premiership Division, where all are exposed to the same amount of resources. I want to also credit, because, we look at the Premiership and the perception is, when we hear SSFL, persons say, well, the intercal, they classify everything as the intercal.
Right.
But we have a league that runs for almost 2 months plus. Mm-hmm. And the league reminds me of Test cricket. You need to have that level of sustainability, patience, because you endure it to the end. The Coca-Cola, which is the sponsor for the intercal, that come like the T20. It's knockout. You got to survive to stay in to move to the next level. But I think in view of that, the teams need to be applauded for what they're doing there, and those involved with them. The championship division, the senior division, the boys under 16, the girls under 15, the boys under 14, the boys under 13, Form 1, 13 and under. And this year, something that we wanted to start last year, we're going to start this year with the girls, 13 and under. But this time around, unlike the boys, who are supposed to be in Form 1 as a criteria, the girls, in order to encourage more of them to play, they don't necessarily have to be in Form 1, but as long as they are 13 years and under, Form 2, Form 3, they can play. So that definitely will embark on for 2024 season. But at the end of it is about creating yet this much anticipated platform. I'm very pleased and honored, and I really commend the predecessors and the previous executives, etc., for doing all the groundwork. And all I am doing now as the president is to hold on to the baton and run with my leg to the best that can be done. But on the staple of football in Trinidad and Tobago, SSFL remains one of the most and much anticipated football in the country. We don't want to drop the standard. We want to just carry it to the next level, so that Trinidad and Tobago will create footballers and citizens who will represent the red, white, and black with distinction.
Yeah, always compare our programs with the US. and in the U.S., of course, they have different zones, and then they compete until they get to the final, and that's a lot more football than we have, but at least we have some competition going, and when that time comes, of course, we can figure it out whether we need to split to keep the balance or whatever. But I think it's the competition, like you said, is so keen now with at least 6 or 8 schools, and not even that. I mean, some schools at the bottom catch themselves at the end of the season and they beat schools on the top, and upset the apple cart, especially when my St. Benedict's College lose early and they had a late comeback, like a big horse in the race. I've got to say, I mean, but it is good competition. You guys are doing such an excellent job, and I think what's going to happen, and it's happening already, like it did in the U.S., the attendance, the crowds that come to the game is overtaken our Premier Football League, and that needs to continue and keep going. And I think that's what makes you guys so great.
And I'm sure that the TTFA, through its Premiership Division, the TTPFL Tier 1 and Tier 2, will continue to work towards the marketability of bringing out the crowds with having incentives, etc. like that. We want to continue at the SSFL level to do that. Now we already have a base by which to start with, which is the schools. And that is why I'm glad you mentioned that. We are in a predicament presently. Why do I say that? Because Sportsmax, that is our chief broadcast entity that has been doing a fantastic job for us and for Trinidad and Tobago football, would like to have double headers. We would love to have double headers too. Double headers mean that greater crowds, greater opportunities for more games and more players to be seen on the big screen, to create resumes, their video clips for resumes. All right, they'll be going at the global level. All right, just to mention a few benefits. We would like to do that at a point in time where, when the teams are playing, students are still not in school.
Yeah.
To do that, we need to play games a little later on. So, for example, 4 and 6. But there are some of the stadia without lights. And I think we know which stadia they are. To play the double headers, we'll have to play 2 and 4. Playing at 2, students are still at school. The parents and guardians are still at school. They want to see their loved ones play. They want to support them. So we are really employing and eagerly pleading on the authorities that be. I know that there may be constraints along the way, political and otherwise. As long as we can get all of these venues, especially the stadia, up to par, readily available, then it will be even more beneficial to all and sundry. We would like to have our opening that will take place on Friday. That's next week Friday. After the launch this coming Wednesday. We tentatively have at the Boland Stadium. Some refurbishment was done on it. We are hoping and keeping our fingers crossed that Atto will be ready for that SSFL NGC Super Cup exhibition game between St. Benedict's College, not St. Benedict's College, Fatima College, the league winners, and Presentation College San Fernando, the intercol winners. We are hopeful. If not, we don't get a venue, we'll have to find another one. It's central, so it helps. Now, we have also some logistical issues concerning traffic. Playing a 4 o'clock game with some persons trying to reach the venue. Again, it becomes a factor. So there are many very important factors that determine that we may have to change the venue. But I come back to say how it's important for us to have the double headers. Where we can have them, we will have them. Where we can't, we'll just have to go with the single games. The intention also was to have, and maybe we could still try, not can't guarantee, was to have an opening double header with the girls' Big Five league winners, the Big Five winners, which is the league winners, and the girls' intercal, which in this case would have been Pleasantville secondary. The intercal was intercal winners being Pleasantville, and the league winners in the championship girls being Scarborough secondary. So that we could have had one game, girls game first, but again, the logistics with that 2 and 4 is creating some tremendous discomfort there. But again, it's also about bringing the girls up and putting them on the platform like the boys, to also allow them to know that they are part and parcel of the journey that we are taking along the way with it. Yeah.
You know, also, they can pre-broadcast one, they can tape one and play it later on. Yeah. At least they've done that before.
Yeah.
You know, you go home and you play a game and you go home and sit down and watch yourself play. Because, I mean, it's a way of bridging that gap for double headers. But I understand totally what you're saying. We run out of time. I've got 1 minute. Any closing remarks, invitation to the public to do the opening, whatever?
Certainly, as we look forward to have the launch on Wednesday, the 28th of August at the Bricks Hotel. There's going to be an SSFL Sports Max launch. The various major stakeholders will be in attendance. We will be releasing a lot more information on that platform. We intend to also have next week Friday the exhibition game, that is a much anticipated event, which will be categorized as the SSFL NGC Super Cup between the presentation called San Fernando South and Fatima, the league winners. And then the season commences the following Wednesday on the 11th of September, the premiership. And then as we move into the month of September, the various other divisions, the championship, senior division, other low divisions will start. We're looking forward for the public's total support as they have done over the years. We are entrusting that through the players and schools, more improved and quality football will be established. And we look forward to also have a bumper affair for the 60th anniversary. And we are asking persons just be on standby. SSFL is coming to release another bumper affair.
Merere, I'm so happy and glad that we got you here today. It's always a pleasure and it's always interesting when you come on the set. I thank you so much for your support. I thank you so much for the SSFL because you've done such a great job and continued success.
Thank you very much, Steve David, for having me on the Field of Dream once again. It's always a pleasure being here. Okay. Thank you once again.
Our viewers, thank you as well for tuning in every Tuesday night at 8. And we do appreciate you so much as well. NCBN TT, thanks for the opportunity. And don't forget, we have a Facebook page. And you can check us out. And we have an email address, fieldofdreamstt@gmail.com, where you can drop us a line. This show has ended. Go in peace. I'm Steve David. That's Merere Gonzales. See you next week. Good night.